Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's lunchtime reflection, which is being live streamed from St Peter Mancroft Church here in the heart of Norwich. It's lovely that there are loads of people in the church right now looking around the Christmas Tree Festival organised by the Rotary Club, and do feel free to carry on looking around. Although I will warn you, if you walk right in front of me, you will appear on the internet. My name's Gill Persicke, and I'm one of the lay ministers in this church. And today's talk is called Advent and the Marshmallow Test. And it's all about delayed gratification, deferred gratification. Now, I wonder if you've heard of the Marshmallow Test. It's a psychological experiment first carried out by American psychologists in 1970, and it's been repeated in various guises many times since then. And I'll just describe to you what a typical experiment of this type is like. You take a young child, 3 to 5 years of age, and you sit her, let's imagine it's a little girl, sit her at a table with a plate in front of her. And on that plate is one beautiful, luscious marshmallow. And you tell the little girl that in a minute you're going to leave the room, and she mustn't eat the marshmallow. If she can wait until you return to the room, then she will be allowed to eat it, and you'll give her a second one as well, as a reward for her patience. And then you head off, and the little girl is left alone for 15 minutes, would you believe it? A huge amount of time for anyone to sit looking at a delicious treat. Now, there is, of course, a camera in the room, so you can see what the child is doing while they're waiting. There's umpteen videos of this online, and they really are very sweet and very funny indeed. You can watch temptation in action, second by second. The children stare at the marshmallow, or they look away, or they even get up and walk away from it. They sniff it on the plate. Doesn't it smell delicious? They pick it up and play with it. They pick tiny little bits off the edge of it to eat, hoping that nobody will notice. You can see the frustration of these children. They drum their fingers on the table, they rock from side to side. One little boy even buries his head in his hands. Another, and I really love this, another takes his fist and squashes that marshmallow flat. Little wonder that by the end of the experiment, those marshmallows are in a variety of states, from perfectly untouched to sticky blob to not there at all. The test is done for experimental reasons, of course, and the psychologists seem almost to agree on one conclusion, that the children who show a high degree of self-control, managing not to eat that marshmallow until they're told to, these children tend to be more successful in later life. They show greater academic success and social confidence. They tend to deal better with stress as adults. But the scientists, of course, can't agree on why this might be. Is it, for example, that the self-controlled children are actually the more able ones? Or could it be something socio-economic, that children from more privileged homes, more stable homes, are more likely to trust that the experimenter is actually going to reappear, like they said they would? Lots of interesting questions here. But you may remember that a little while ago I told you that this talk is called Advent and the Marshmallow Test. So, what's all this got to do with Advent? Well, it always strikes me that the way things are nowadays, Christians are set a considerable challenge in self-control during Advent. Think about it. For the secular world, Christmas is already happening right now all around us. There's people in Santa hats already saying Happy Christmas to each other, and that's lovely, and that will last through until the 25th or 26th of December. But for Christians, Christmas starts on Christmas Day, when Jesus is actually born, and it lasts, depending on your tradition, for at least 12 days after that. Which poses the church nowadays with a bit of a problem. When do you start celebrating Christmas? Do you hold out and refuse to sing Christmas carols until the 25th, only allowing Advent carols until that point, deferring the gratification, as it were? I used to go to a church which took this very strict line, and it was so unpopular. And being as strict as this would be completely ludicrous in a church like this one, because we serve our community through welcoming countless people into this gorgeous building for carol services, loads of them in the run-up to Christmas. And we're really happy to do this. And it isn't just music, of course. What about clothes? Lots of people are beginning to put on their Christmas sweaters and their glad rags, getting festive already, and why shouldn't they? Whereas our clergy, during main services at least, are wearing purple to signify, yes, penitence, and to my eye at least, also suggesting the dark sky before the dawning of the Christ child. We're still waiting. The light hasn't yet dawned. For me personally, my main challenge in deferring the gratification of Christmas is around my Christmas lights. In the street where I live, we traditionally have a street switch-on the second Saturday of December. But for many years, I didn't join in. I held back with my lights until Christmas Eve, until I realised what a very bad impression this gives of me as a Christian. Killjoy, I think you could say. No, far better to do what I've done the last couple of years and join in with the Christmas spirit. So, this church has buckled on the question of carols, and I've buckled on the question of lights. And both these decisions are, I believe, the right ones. But there is a serious issue here as well. We live in a society wedded to the idea of gratification, instant and constant gratification. Eat your marshmallows now, and another one, and another one. We fancy something today and can get it tomorrow via Amazon. We check social media constantly for our next fix. Perhaps what the world, or at least the developed world, needs right now is some remedial lessons in deferred gratification, in waiting. The Christmas season does genuinely make deferred gratification really difficult for us. Though, of course, if you're very determined, you could refuse to drink alcohol or eat Christmas food at home, at least, until Christmas Day actually arrives. But it's something to think about this year. Can we actually do something to ensure that Christmas doesn't turn into a month-long festival of metaphorical marshmallows, and instead becomes a festival with a shape, culminating on Christmas Day with a fresh celebration of the birth of our Lord? Thank you for joining me today, and I wish you every blessing for the rest of today.